We've got to do something to provide lifestyle so that people can stay living here and not panic, sell their homes and move away.
We have resources. We may have empty buildings, but that's a resource.
Hopefully this will bring the community and leadership back together again.
In order to accomplish something, we have to not only emphasize what we're interested in, but we have to listen to other people's interests now.
Are we willing to put our nose to the grindstone, or do we want to just sit back and say the government to help us, support us? No, we don't want the government to support us. We're proud.
Reinventing Limestone is a story of how a northern Maine community takes action to survive a crisis which threatens its existence. It is convincing evidence that a diverse group of concerned and committed citizens can successfully gather to conceive and place into specific action a vision which ensures their future as a viable rural community.
You've got a tough row to hoe. At least from the outside, it looks like that. On the other hand, maybe not. Maybe it's just going to be just something wonderful. What I'm going to do, my job is to bring out your ideas and help you come to a decision about what you want to do with this town.
The impending crisis precipitated by the Loring Air Force Base closing moved concerned citizens of Limestone to take the following actions. They requested assistance from the Maine Rural Development Council for leadership education, which would help them cope with their perceived crisis. The council agreed to provide assistance and turned to the Center for Consensual Democracy and Advanced Management Catalyst, Inc. for consultant and facilitative services for addressing the Limestone Challenge. The Schumann Foundation was also approached and agreed to provide funding to help document the event. What follows is a result of a 3-day seminar attended by nearly 40 Limestone citizens.
Activities, to promote and encourage tourism.
We're not a hub. I'm not sure we can claim that. I'm not sure we can achieve that, but we can achieve international trade through some means.
We're never going to be centered.
The point of the process is to enable a group of people to accomplish something that means something to them. So we're really going for that deep self-interest, which is also a communal interest.
That has been on the drawing board for the last 40 years.
Right. Well,
we're not building consensus in the way that most people think about consensus, and we're certainly not building agreement. The first thing you've got to do is develop a common sense of destiny.
Are you everybody ready? Close your eyes, sit back, listen to this. Limestone is an attractive, prosperous rural community which blends traditional small-town values with a world vision. Our churches, families, businesses, farms, and schools work together to preserve our heritage, natural resources, and create an exciting future.
Okay, so you've got a vision. Most planning processes fall apart at this point because they don't build a bridge from a vision to who's going to do what.
Okay, you know, this is where the rubber meets, yep. This is where the rubber meets the sky. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the sky. Now we're going to get to where the rubber meets the road.
The way you find out what people are really going to do is first you find out what are all the possibilities. Because we've discovered that the best ideas are always hidden behind some wild and crazy ideas.
Publicizing town meetings,
Yep.
A community information link, which a fiber optics line was served for.
To promote the downtown improvement, make it more attractive for Canadian shoppers.
The farmhouse will be a home, a bed and breakfast.
If you provide more entertainment activities for kids our age, you'll probably find a substantial decrease in crime and vandalism and things that people do just entertain themselves.
You're getting there. I'll just give me a few more and I'll let you off the hook.
In your typical process, most people are reluctant to sound foolish or silly. They don't have permission to do that. They might lose respect, but there's not room for that.
Outside public toilets.
We've never had another time when we've had this many people together to discuss issues other than town meetings.
I see faces here today that usually are not involved on these committees.
At first, we were kind of tentative. We didn't want to really see anything because, you know, we were surrounded.
What I see happening here is a new round of young people getting involved that will be ready to pick up now or 5 years from now as leadership slots become open.
Now that an open forum was established, on day 2, priorities were set.
If you had to choose between putting resources in one or the other, I want you to tell me which one you're really going to put it in, not which ones you'd like to. I want to know what you're really going to do. When push comes to shove, you know, you're actually going to do something. I want to know what that is. We typically get our objectives in priority. You know, what's your highest level priority? And get all the objectives in priority. And usually people are actually doing some of this stuff. So we find out, well, what are they doing? You know, what stage of accomplishment are they at? Compare D to E, decide which one you're going to do now. Who all votes for D? I get 32. One person may be all excited about one objective, and another person may be excited about another objective. And in the old system, these people would be fighting each other for resources. That's crazy.
I've been educated that my priorities aren't necessarily those of the town, and I agree with some of the other priorities. I've kind of shifted, I think, some of my priorities for the town.
Which one are you going to choose? Now, who all votes for A? How many of you are going to vote for, going to do A? Well, that was easy.
On day 3, results were given, and more importantly, committees were formed.
All right, let's take a look at what we found out. Neil, you want to throw the matrix up? Okay, what you're looking at is one of the results of this process. So we got, what's your highest priority? Your highest priority is education. As a community, the focus needs to be right there. You need to get that one settled. So we actually spot what is the top bottleneck. And we find how to take all the energy in the community and focus it on getting that bottleneck completed so that you can release the energy that's bound, that's caught, that's trapped by that bottleneck to come back and pull other things along.
Other objectives set for implementation: agricultural development, business development, financial assistance, healthcare expansion, support lowering reuse, community awareness, improving the infrastructure, recreation and tourism, public relations, lake development, and a community center. Selecting committee members and a champion for each objective was the next step.
I want each of you to pick one of these to work on. And the assignment for the group, I want them to prioritize at least the top 3 priorities and identify which, if any, initiatives in that group are going to help get number 1 done. Objective number 1 done.
That volume, because they're going to take a dramatic drop here.
My feeling was that we were becoming a very, very less democratic nation for a lot of reasons. Not because of evil people or anything, but just a lot of things just were moving us in that direction, and we were a little bit out of control. You know, back at the turn of the century, most people were farmers. They owned their own farms. They were used to running things. They were kind of naturally democratic. Well, you know, for the last 80 years, everybody works for somebody else. People have really gotten into the habit of deferring, of letting somebody else make the decisions.
As the community learns to assume more responsibility for its own quality of life, it's a lifelong experience, and it's a lifelong endeavor.
I fully, totally believe in Limestone. I believe in the people that make up Limestone. We're a very resourceful group of people.
We're not as bad off maybe as we thought we was going to be. I don't see it now. I thought I saw a lot of doom and gloom. Now I don't think it is. I can see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel on some of the things we're doing and we've been doing. And I don't think we're as bad off as some of the other communities.
In December 1998, on the eve of a second community catalyst, members of the Limestone Community Vision Association and public officials came together to summarize 5 years of sustained civic renewal.
We bottomed out 3 years ago, and we're on the way up.
One of the things that we were worried about was losing our community school. And now we find that we have a strong community school.
In the fall of 1995, the Maine School of Science and Mathematics opened its doors to 135 students from throughout the state of Maine.
We're fortunate to get really good staff and leadership at the Loring Commerce Center. And we've already replaced the civilian jobs there at the Commerce Center, and now we're working on replacing the military jobs that were left.
We have been extremely successful in 4.5 years of development. We have 1 million square feet of space occupied. We have 16 different entities, some public sector, some private sector, and those entities have committed to create 1,200 jobs in a relatively small period of time.
We provided new services. For example, we now have a ambulance system based right here in Limestone with, and we have 15 plus EMTs trained.
The most exciting thing that's happened probably in the 5 years is something we hadn't looked at, but we talked about additional markets. Yeah. McCain Foods is a potato processing plant. They have announced plans for an expansion to double their production.
I tell a lot of people that they will find no gossip in my newsletter, that everything in there is fact. I think it brings them closer because now they feel a part of what's going on.
Limestone didn't hit the bottom that it thought it was going to hit.
The Center for Consensual Democracy would periodically visit the area to mark progress and to assist in keeping the various committees in focus. The community praised CCD for their past and current contributions.
Like any small community, probably had a community that was fractured and did not know in which direction they wanted to go. So when the Center for Consensual Democracy came in, I think that provided the catalyst for them to get together, share ideas.
That program really helped us a lot. It gave us encouragement, it gave us impetus, it gave us ideas. It helped us in so many ways in this community.
No one's thoughts are left out of the program. That was very, very important to us.
I look on the CCD as our mentor, really. I don't know how we would have thought through what we really wanted to do.
Giving us that support, coming up and conducting these workshops for us, steering us in the right direction.
And if the center hadn't worked with us and showed us basically what we can do by bringing people in and speaking with us and how easy it was to take our own resources and make it, it might not have gotten done.
You instill positive things in people, and that's what we needed.
We know that we can get help to do another catalyst, which now we're finding we probably have to do every 2 years. The center not only came, provided the catalyst, but continued to support us.
I think your guidance has been invaluable for us. You know, to know that you were there and you were always willing to come. We felt at home with you. And I felt that we always had someone we could turn to.
Though more work needs to be done, the continued effort by the community, along with the assistance of CCD, paints a bright and positive future for the town of Limestone.
It really is recovering, but still there's a sort of a sense of hope, a sense of moving forward.
Because they did have that visioning process and they did set some goals and they did meet. Most of those goals have already been met. Now it's time to go on, meet some more goals.
So I think that there's been an entire shift in attitudes, which has a lot to do with our successes. Because when we talk to business prospects, they want to come to a community that has its act together.
This is a very positive move. My son's excited about it. I'm excited about it. It looks like now he will be able to continue and be a 6th-generation potato farmer in Limestone.
We should be prosperous this next 5 years, too.
I don't see anything stopping us if we put the right attitude forward and we work together as a community.
Having survived the initial shock of a military base closing, Limestone's civic renewal continues, sustained by the Vision Group and supported by Consensual Democracy, a sustainable grassroots approach to reviving communities through the initiative of ordinary citizens.
I have one quote that I really like, and once in a while I dig it out just to remind myself of why it's important for us to hang in there as leaders. One person awake will awaken another. The second person can awaken another, his next door neighbor, his brother. 3 awake can awaken a town by turning the whole place upside down. Many awake can make such a fuss, it finally awakens the rest of us.